Good day, everyone, and welcome to OMID 24 TV. Today we have Shaun Collier. Am I saying that correct?
Yes, you are.
Okay. With us, who's currently in the process of running for the elections within Ajax for mayor. So I just want, before we begin, give a quick background on Shaun Collier. So during the last term, Shaun pushed strongly for increased police presence in Ajax, opposed the incinerator in Clarington, supported the direct election of the regional chair, promoted increased transit routes and new bus shelters, and introduced motions to review the makeup of regional council and address the huge inequalities of Ajax representation. So I have here Frozan and myself, Zora, who will be here during this interview with Shaun Collier. So Frozan, you can begin.
Thank you. So you've been a councillor in Ajax since 2003. What made you decide that it was time to become a candidate for mayor in Ajax?
Well, I kind of have worked my way up. Thank you for the question. I've kind of worked my way up the levels. I mean, I got involved in 2003 because as an accountant by trade, I didn't like the way I saw things going in Ajax. Financially, I didn't think we were in the bottom 20% as far as our debt levels and our reserve fund balances, and now we're in the top 10. So I mean, we've done well in that way. And over that time, I got first elected in 2003, re-elected in 2006, then moved up to regional councillor and deputy mayor in 2010, and re-elected in 2014. So I've worked my way up. I've got a lot of experience, and there is a pretty steep learning curve for each level. So I think now that it's the first time in 23 years that Mayor Steve Parrish is stepping aside, and we've worked together for a long time in the last 15 years. And I think as a council, we've moved things forward and we've done very well. And now that he's stepping aside, I think I'm the best person to take over and lead the team moving forward.
Okay, great, thank you. So how do you plan to involve residents in the decision-making process in Ajax?
Well, right now, elections are very important in that we've been out door knocking since July. We've knocked on over 18,000 doors so far. Great. And that's, people tell you what they think. And I think our messaging is resonating very, very well with the residents. We've got some very strong issues. Things like economic development, attracting business, creating jobs, because 70% of our residents travel to the city every day to work. Meanwhile, we have over 400 acres of prime serviced employment land sitting in Ajax. We need to get that investment, get those shovels in the ground. That will do a number of things. Those commercial taxes will help take the pressure off our residential taxpayers, as well as creating those much needed jobs so all of our people don't have to keep traveling. So I am seeking input from residents every day. Every day we're talking to people. The other thing I do is I hold regular quarterly public open houses. So, an opportunity, just an open opportunity for people to come out and meet, and sometimes they just give me a hard time, sometimes they just ask questions. We learn from each other, and that is something that I found to be very, very important. I started those in 2010, and as mayor I'm going to continue those because they are very important to keep that open communication.
I think so. That's a very good idea.
So that is great. So you mentioned very briefly that you spoke to about 18,000.
So far,
which is impressive, really. So speaking to those 18,000 residents or folks, what is the #1 issue that you've been hearing about from them, and what are your plans to hopefully address them?
Yeah, it's always property taxes, but this time almost equal is community safety. So we do have some increased crime in Durham region. We're up about 7.4%. So my two top issues before talking to people are these issues. The first one, economic development, we've talked about briefly, and that is the need to develop our employment lands. Again, that 425 acres of employment lands that are sitting vacant. Get those, get that investment and move forward on the jobs. Also redevelopment of our downtown core. Our downtown core has, redevelopment has stalled. We've been very successful with the Pat Bailey Square, and we just had our Pat Bailey Square grand opening about 3 weeks ago. And but again, there's a much larger section of our downtown that dates back to the 50s. It's low-rise retail type space. It's become sort of run down, and we really don't have a properly defined downtown core. At the same time, we have a lot of seniors who we lack apartment space, we lack condominiums, so we have seniors that are downsizing from their homes and leaving Ajax because we don't have that other type of housing. And we've got a lot of young people today that just can't afford to buy the houses that are out there. And again, we need those alternate forms of housing, those apartments and those condos with mixed-use development. and mixed use is main floor retail, second, third floor office, and then residential above. That's sort of the optimum use of land, especially in the downtown urban corridors. So with that mixed use development, that will provide those housing that we need, that will provide the office space we badly need, as well as the retail, creating that pedestrian friendly live-work type environment so people can live, work, and shop without having to get in their cars, without having to, you know, travel through gridlock. That should help with a lot of things. So so that's one of the things, is that ties in with the economic development and the jobs. To the other, the community safety. If you go to my website at votecollier.com, you'll see I have a costed plan to bring a police station to Ajax. One thing you didn't mention is I've been on council since 2003, but I've lived in Ajax since 1969.
You've been there for
I grew up
almost
there
all your life.
since I was 1.
Yes.
Yeah, so don't do the math, but since I was 1. Actually, my parents still live in the house they bought down in South Ajax. So lived there, seen a lot of change, and in my life there I've seen 3 police stations close. We as Ajax residents pay $36 million a year for policing specifically to the region. And we maybe receive 2 or 3 million worth of benefit. We are a fairly safe community, however we have had some increasing crime. But the bottom line is we're paying for services and we're not getting the value. And that 36 million, we're subsidizing other municipalities. I personally feel that having that police station, having that main central hub, will go a long way to increase presence. A lot of our issues we have are with driving. We have some very, very poor driving habits now. So having that presence, having those police coming and going from that central hub, again, will help with that, and also help displace some of the criminal element that's sort of sneaking in from other areas. I have been criticized on this plan by some people saying there's no studies been done saying a police station will actually help decrease crime. Fair enough, but there's no studies been done saying it won't. Like most people I talk to, and I'm talking about 70% of people I talk to, certainly think that we need this and we're paying for it and we should have this piece of infrastructure. But also more officers. So one of the things I also do is I'm chair of the finance committee of the region of Durham. So I oversee a $1.4 billion budget, and I know where the numbers go. Like I know the numbers really well. And what my costed plan does is reallocates existing spending. So by moving things around, money that's already in the budget, we can get this station here, a multi-use facility, as well as free up money to hire more officers. Right? Anybody that says, no, we don't want a building, but we want more officers, is voting for a tax increase. Because where are you going to get the money to pay for those officers? My plan reallocates and frees up money to do both.
Okay, so the point is not to get them to pay more tax, but reallocate.
Exactly right.
Okay.
And that's, if you do go to the website and read those policies, you'll see that everything on there, I don't just talk about the issues, which some of my competitors do, but I bring solutions to the table. And if you look at the solutions, they are all costed and they're achievable. So these aren't campaign promises. These are things, and a lot of them are already in the works.
Okay. Okay. So, moving on, do you think it's important for young people to be involved in their community and the civic process? If so, why?
Absolutely. We have 4,500 first-time voters this time around. These are people that have just reached 18, 19, voting for their first time. We've always been very good at engaging our youth. It's a huge growing part of our community, is our future. We have what's called our Youth Engagement Advisory Committee, which both my kids have served on, actually. And this is where I liken this to a lot of things. I'm an accountant by trade, I'm a financial guy, but I don't know a lot about things like, I don't know, the environment, for instance, or some other things. So we have advisory committees which help us, give us guidance on things like that. We have a diversity advisory committee, we have an environmental advisory committee, we have a recreation and culture, we have our youth engagement advisory committee. So by having the youth engagement advisory committee, that gives us their point of view on things that we're doing. So areas where I don't have expertise, we can reach out to the community in all these different areas and get that feedback from them. So things that we're doing, initiatives we bring forward, will go through the advisory committees, in this case the youth, and they will give us the youth perspective. And so I don't know if you have a look at my social media or anything, you'll see my campaign team is quite large. We usually have between 12 and 15 people come out, and they are mostly youth, mostly people in their early 20s, and they are, the messaging we're putting out is resonating really well with the youth. We have a lot of youth unemployment. We have a very highly educated community, and in our youth we've got university educated people doing entry-level
positions.
Yeah.
And then the people that would normally have the entry-level positions are now being pushed into unemployment and poverty because we lack those high-paying, high-tech jobs. So the economic development side feeds into that. By creating more of this, we're able to get these new graduates, these new youth, into the workforce where they should be and free up those entry levels as well. The other thing that's on there is the economic development, the college university campus and technology hub piece. More and more universities are starting their own incubators for new graduates, the new youth of today. Our future of tomorrow have these great ideas and they have these products they want to develop, but they lack the means to pay for the space. And that's where these incubators come in. And part of my plan also speaks to creating a local incubator, creating a local technology hub in Ajax as well, which is really resonating well with the youth.
I think
So,
that's a
very
good-
important piece.
Yeah, I think that's a very good idea. I think that a lot of times there's just a lack of resources for youth to be able to
Exactly right.
engage and use those resources for personal or professional development in any sort of way.
Exactly right. And just one thing further is society focuses on the negatives of youth. And one thing that we've been really good at in Ajax is focusing on the positives. We have this program called Up Next Ajax, where we take youth that really excel in certain things that you might not even know about. Like maybe this person plays 8 different instruments, or this person does this, and we take those attributes, those positive attributes, and we showcase those individuals to be sort of role models for others. And so we don't want to be focusing on the negatives, we want to be focusing on the positives. And that's the message that I try and follow through in everything from the campaign to everything we do.
Amazing, yeah. So I guess we can just skip the next question because you just basically explained that.
Is that? Okay.
Yeah, you did. So I'll just go into the next one. So according to the Canadian census, Ajax has a population that has an increase of immigrants recently in the past few years. So as mayor, how would you, if you get elected as mayor, how would you ensure that newcomers and immigrants such as Afghans are engaged and supported so that they can successfully integrate into society?
Okay, well that's a great question. And I'm actually very proud of the diversity in Ajax. We've grown very rapidly, and the area that I've always represented, being North Ajax, is the most diverse. We're actually, the area I represent is the most diverse in Durham region and possibly Ontario. In my area, I think I make up about 32%. That's how diverse North Ajax is. Your statistic, I think, takes all of Ajax. One thing that I've been successful at is I go to everything. So, we have all our different groups. We might have the Afghani community, we might have the Muslim groups, the Hindu groups, the Tamil groups, and I go to them all. And I have for many, many years. So I've become accepted into these. I love the food. I love it. I learn about the cultures. I learn about the traditions. Some of the simple greetings, things like that. And I think people, even though I'm not necessarily one of them, they've come to respect the fact that I'm putting myself out there and I'm engaging with them. And I think that's something we really need to encourage. My campaign speaks to getting more people involved. I go to all these different events. So if I go to the Ganesh ceremony down at the waterfront 2 weeks ago, and maybe I'm the only white face there, right? It's all the different groups sort of stay in their groups. And that's where I think we need to do some work. And I want to create a number of signature events in Ajax where we highlight our multiculturalism and we really promote our inclusivity. And what I mean by that is, instead of having the Afghani community being in their group and the Muslims in their group, and let's get these groups together. How can we work together to integrate everybody? I know we have a diversity coordinator at the town who we hired 2 years ago, and they're doing a great job as far as things like at our community centers, for instance, having swimming lessons for women from some of these communities because they have to be closed. So recognizing those needs and providing those opportunities is one thing, but actually getting people integrated together is another that I think we need to work on. So maybe an international festival, something where we can showcase the important differences and all of them, and so other people can understand them and enjoy them. Things like, maybe, I know we have the Taste of Danforth in Greektown, but not just Greek people go there. right? Everybody
yeah,
goes there.
everybody
So
does,
we used to
yeah.
have a thing in Ajax called Taste of Ajax, which was fairly successful. And again, maybe just bringing the different restaurants together, bringing that back again in a bigger way, partnering with the town. Instead of having local groups do it, have the town initiate and do some of these things. I think it's a way to get more people together.
To be more
And
integrated.
that's what I
Yeah.
want to do, is sort of showcase our diversity and work with all our different
So make it
cultures.
more collective. for
And
everyone.
inclusive.
Inclusive.
Yep.
Okay.
Yep.
Okay, thank you for your
Did I answer that right?
Yes, you did.
Okay.
So, next question. If you had 60 seconds to explain to someone why they should vote for you as a mayor of Ajax, what would you say in particular?
Well, first, the mayor's job isn't an entry-level position. You need somebody that has the education, that has the experience, that can hit the ground running. Especially this time round, I talked about our very diverse town, and with the changes to the boundaries, there's really no incumbents this time. And you'll see there's, I think, 27 different candidates running, and they represent every different culture, every part of the community. And everybody is pretty new, and it's possible that we will get almost an entirely new council this time around, and that's not a bad thing. People will bring their individual talents and their individual perspectives to the table, but as mayor, you need somebody that can provide the leadership and the guidance and the experience and the vision to sort of steer the ship. And I think I have that. Like I said, the fact that there's 27 new people, and I think 27 are supporting me as mayor, shows that they share that vision. And they see me as the leader that can sort of get us to the next level in Ajax and move us forward. So I think I've demonstrated that better than any of the competitors. And the fact that I have that support will really help when we lead into this next term. With whoever wins, I've been very careful to not openly endorse anybody, because whoever wins, we need to work together. I don't want to create animosity. So yeah, I'm looking forward to that, and I think because of those things, that makes me the best candidate. Also, having lived there my whole life, I mean, I know the town very, very well. I have a real vested interest, which is why I got involved in politics here in the first place. And I have already built all those inroads into a lot of these groups, and have that trust already developed and those relationships developed that none of my other candidates have as well. So I think for those reasons, we'll be able to work very well together, and I'm going to continue my community outreach and keep doing what we do.
And then hopefully hit more than 18,000.
We're going to hit about 24,000, I think, by the
24,000.
time we're done, of
Hopefully.
38. It's impossible to get to them all. I mean, this is a 100-day campaign, and we go nonstop every day, and I've got a big team. But there's no way, and that's, again, the importance of having those community outreach, having those open houses, having those opportunities to sit down and meet. One other thing that I've always done is I give out my personal cell phone number. So people call me directly. In the last 15 years, they call me directly, and sometimes they're surprised to answer my own phone. But that's what you have to do. You have to be approachable.
It's not
You
a
have
hoax.
to be accessible. Yeah.
That's a good thing, because a lot of times people go like, oh, you can contact another individual
Or through a third party.
A third party.
Yeah.
So it's good to know that they can directly contact you if you have an issue that's of importance.
And I don't pass the buck. I mean, if somebody calls me, even if it's an issue outside of my area that I'm not responsible for, or I will, if I can't do it, I will find the people that can do it.
That's
So,
great.
Yeah.
Those are really great, strong-headed responses. Thank you so much.
Oh, no problem. I really appreciate the opportunity to be here. Thank you.
Thank you. So thank you guys, Ahmed, OMID 24 TV viewers, for tuning in, and I hope that was informative for being able to choose the next mayor of Ajax, and thank you for your time.
Thank you. Hi, I'm Shaun Collier, and I'm running to be the next mayor of the town of Ajax. This is a really exciting time. This is the first time in 23 years where we're going to have a new mayor and probably pretty much an entire new council. I'm looking forward to leading this next team into the future. It stands for a lot of things: economic development, attracting business, creating jobs, increased police presence in our town with the police station, redevelopment of our downtown core, and really embracing the multiculturalism and becoming a really much more inclusive community. To find out more about what I stand for, please visit votecollier.com and check out my policies that I've written there on these, where I can give you a lot more information. Election starts, opening day is October the 15th to the 22nd. You should have received your letters from the town of Ajax by now, which has all your voter information. And please don't forget to vote on October 15th to 22nd. You have 7 days, and you can vote electronically from anywhere in the world at your convenience, or visit one of our voter centers. Thank you very much.